You are now tuned into Somewhere in the Middle with Sunni and Mo.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, Don on the beat.
Hey, I got so many ops.
Everywhere I go, I
got so many ops.
so many ops.
I know they plotting against me. I know it's hate, they wanna kill me, but please don't tempt me, cause I got so many Glocks. Hey, ain't none of them empty. Jesus said they would hate me too. That's how I know it's in me. I got so many ops. I know they plotting against me. I know it's hate, they trying to kill me, but please don't tempt me, cause I got so.
Hey guys, I'm back with a different video. So apparently if you were watching the last video where we were going over the Trump town hall, YouTube completely shut it down. Which is crazy. I understand not monetizing it because obviously I'm playing footage from Univision and it's copyrighted and blah 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 blah. But to completely shut it down is a little crazy. I've never had that happen. I don't know if that's like a new policy now that YouTube just completely shuts you down. Usually all they do is tell you you can't monetize the video, meaning you can't earn any money from the video, which I fully expected that, right? But yeah, so that's what happened. So because I cannot go on and do any further reaction to that video, I am just going to move into this video. Okay. So I hope you guys do join me because we are going to be talking about the Trump and Kamala tax plan. There is no copyrighted stuff in here. This is all like original material. So there is no way that YouTube can shut me down, nor can I get a strike for this. Okay. What I do need from you guys is to be as active as you can in the comment section. Please make sure you're hitting the like button as you are coming in. Please make sure you are subscribed, not only to my channel, Let's Talk Darling, but also to Somewhere in the Middle. We do a show every Tuesday, and that show is a couple hours and we cover a whole lot of topics. Okay. So I am going to get into this topic because I think that this topic is an interesting one for people. I think this is something that you guys want to know. I see a lot of misinformation from both sides on what their tax plan is. And this video, I'm going to kind of handle, very, unbiased, because I'm just going to be presenting facts. This is not my opinion. This is information that I have gathered from Kamala Harris's website and what she has listed as her plan, and also from Trump's. Okay. Before I get into, and I have slides that I'm going to show you. So this is not just going to be me talking. There's going to be visuals in here so that you guys can get a good idea of what I'm talking about. It is important to kind of set up what the current state is. Okay. So if you guys don't already know, we are currently living under the Trump tax cuts. Okay. So these are tax cuts that he set in place while he was in office, and they actually had an expiration date of basically the end of this year. Okay. So the Trump tax cuts will be expiring this year. And I thought it would be important for me to go through this information with you so you really understand the impact that this is going to have. Because as we were speaking about in the last video, if you think your groceries are high now, if you think your paycheck is low now, if you think your investments suck now, just wait. Okay. Now, a lot of you guys may say, well, if Trump's tax plan is so good, why are things so expensive? Well, that's inflation. And that wasn't caused by Trump. That's caused by a lot of different things, like moving gas and oil, companies moving their corporations outside of the United States to other countries so they can operate in a cheaper way. People not spending as much money, us sending millions and billions of dollars to other countries. So a lot of things impact that even though you have a great tax plan, if everything else is shitty, pardon my French, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So I do want to go over the current state of what to know about the current tax situation as it is right now. Okay. Please, you guys, make sure to just drop comments if you're in here. Just say, hey, just so I know who's watching. It really, really helps my video, just like hitting the like button does. So, and it helps me to be seen on YouTube and get kind of past the algorithm. All right, so I'm going to read an article here in regards to what I'm going to be showing you. So basically, as 2025 approaches, top-ranked advisors are bracing for a looming tax cliff when trillions of dollars in tax breaks are scheduled to expire. Enacted by former President Donald Trump, the Tax Cuts and the Jobs Act of 2017 brought a slew of temporary tax changes for individuals. Those provisions will expire in 2025 without action from Congress. So basically, Congress either has to renew this plan or they need to come up with another plan. And that would be what Kamala Harris, whoever the president who's going to be in charge, will be proposing in Congress, will be voting on. Okay. Some of the key changes include lower federal income tax brackets, bigger standard deductions and more generous child tax credits, a 20% deduction for pass-through businesses, and high estate and gift tax exemptions, among other provisions. Okay. It's unclear whether Donald Trump's Act of 2017 could be extended by Congress, particularly with uncertain control of who's going to have control of the Senate and in the White House. In the meantime, financial advisors have started planning for clients who would and could be affected. But this is going to affect everybody. This is going to affect the individual taxpayer. This is going to affect corporations. This is going to affect investments, everything, blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to read to you what this entire article says about this, but because my slides are going to be a lot easier to understand. But basically, let's see here. Does this show? Yeah, I show this in my thing. But basically, before I get into my slides, I do want to kind of show you guys a clip of what each candidate says they're going to do for the economy in their own words. Okay, so the first one we're going to watch is Kamala Harris. This is her speaking at the recent presidential debate with Donald Trump. And here's what she had to say.
Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy. And the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you. Donald Trump has no plan for you.
You guys might be asking, well, she didn't really go over her plan. That's what she said about her plan. Okay. She spent her time talking about why Trump's plan isn't going to be the plan for us. She didn't really give much information at that debate about her plan. Okay. So, that's not me, just trying to paint a bad picture. But that's what she said. Okay. So she talked about why you shouldn't vote for Trump because of that. And you know what? Now that I think about it, hopefully my video doesn't get struck down with these, but I guarantee you it's not going to. But anyways, let's look at Trump's. Tito, you're so funny. Let's look at Trump's. This was at the Detroit Economic Club. I think this literally just happened the other day. So I'm going to play a little bit of this so you guys can hear what he has to say.
America First economic plan looks like. I am proposing an across-the-board income tax reduction, especially for middle-income Americans. We will eliminate the carried interest deduction, well-known deduction, and other special interest loopholes that have been so good for Wall Street investors and for people like me My plan will
Okay, I do want to point out that he said that loopholes that were good for real estate investors and people like me. Okay, so if you don't know what he's talking about actually the tax cuts for corporations that President Obama put into place that he actually kept because they were beneficial to people like him and big corporations, right? He was like, well, Obama made it. Obama was the one that made it. And I think there was actually an expiration date on that. Somebody much more knowledgeable on that can correct me in the comments. But that's what he's talking about. He's actually talking about eliminating that in order to fix, to kind of overcorrect where the economy is at right now. Okay. So that should say something to you because he's actually taking a benefit that he and many other very wealthy people have profited from basically since Obama left office.
reduce the current number of brackets from 7 to 3. For many American workers, their tax rate will be 0. Under my plan, no American company will pay more than 15% of their business income in taxes. I am going to cut regulations massively. We will allow businesses to immediately expense new business investments. We'll also help reduce the cost of childcare by allowing parents to fully deduct the average cost of childcare spending from their taxes.
That's a big deal. A full deduction of what you spend on your childcare is a big deal.
We are also going to bring back trillions of dollars from American businesses that are now parked overseas. Our plan will bring that cash home, applying only a 10% tax. No family will have to pay the death tax. I will issue a temporary moratorium on new agency regulations.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there just because I don't want to get hit with another copyright. I want to be able to do this video, and we're going to jump right into my presentation for you guys, okay? And you guys definitely, if you have any questions as we go along, oops, hold on one second. Definitely let me know in the comments section, okay? All right, here we go. So as I said, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of the Trump and Kamala tax plan, okay? So first we're going to talk about the standard deduction, current versus future, and we're going to break the future down by each candidate, okay? So currently, the standard deduction for single taxpayers is $14,600. For married couples, it is filing joint. It is $29,200. Okay, so what that is I'll give you an example. So, like in Texas, you can you used to be able to keep all your receipts, right? Like grocery store, restaurant, anything that you would pay state income tax on, because in Texas we don't pay state tax. And you could add up that tax for the year, and that could serve as a deduction for you. Now, if you didn't do that, you didn't save all your receipts, you didn't want to take the time to keep track of all that, there were standard deductions. So that was like basically like a default deduction. Okay. So this is what it currently is. Again, $14,600 for singles, $29,200 for married taxpayers. Okay. That's the standard. Everybody gets it across the board, depending on how you file. In the future, we're looking at a lot less. Okay. We're looking at $7,000. This is after the Trump tax plan expires. Okay. So if Trump is not president and Kamala is president, or Congress does not make a decision on the Trump's tax plan on whether to renew it or to keep it moving, this is what it's going to look like. For singles, you're only going to get a $7,300 deduction. For married couples, you will get a $14,600 deduction. Okay, so that is literally cut by half when those Trump tax cuts expire. So that means that when you guys do your taxes for 2024, 2024, this is going to impact you if they do not renew that plan or Trump does not make it into the presidency. Because what's important to know is he's basically going to renew this exact same plan with a few additions and tweaks. Okay. All right. So QBI is quarterly business income. Okay. So the 20% quarterly business income tax deduction would also expire. Okay. So meaning if you had $100,000 business income, okay, normally you would get a $20,000 deduction, okay, making your taxable income only $80,000. That would expire. Okay. So I just want to let you know that would completely go away. All right. Individual income tax rate. So currently, the current tax rate for individuals is 37% of their income. And future, it would be 39%. Again, I want to reiterate, this is if Trump's current tax plan that we're all living under right now goes away, not president. Okay. We're going to get into the individuals in just a second. I just want to kind of show you guys what the current situation is. All right. Bonus depreciation would expire. Okay. So these are write-offs for investment properties. Okay. So like equipment you use, machinery, vehicles, whatever you have, that you would not be able to write off once this current tax plan expires. So that is going to be a huge impact to people who have investment properties. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about that. Okay. All right. So opportunity income is what Kamala Harris is proposing. That's the name. If you want to look it up, you can Google to see the full breakdown of everything. You can Google Kamala Harris's opportunity income. I would suggest you go to the one straight on her campaign page, because that's going to give you all the information you need straight from her campaign. But what she's proposing is tax cuts for new businesses, tax cuts for first-time homeowners, tax cuts for families with newborn children, and tax cuts for low-income individuals. Okay. Doesn't sound that bad, but we're going to break it down. Okay. So she's basically saying that no one earning less than $400,000 per year would pay any more than what they're paying in taxes now. Okay. I don't know how she can say that, because given what we just went through, which the current tax plan is going to expire, I don't know how she can guarantee that right now, since she really doesn't, there's no other tax plan being proposed to Congress as of right now. Okay. Other than what she's saying she's going to promise to do, but there's no how are you going to pay for it type of thing. Okay. And I also want to say that there's going to be some sections here where Trump has some type of a plan or Kamala has some type of plan and the other candidate does not have a plan. And I do outline that honestly. Okay. Now, if Trump gets into office, we are looking at a permanent tax cut for corporate income tax, a permanent tax cut for individuals, a permanent 20% quarterly business income deduction, and a permanent tax cut for depreciation deduction. Okay. So there's that. All right. Tax plan for new business owners. Holy cow, you have to pay $80,000 plus in taxes. That's crazy. All right. So tax plan for new business owners. So this is what each candidate is proposing for new business owners. So if you currently have a business, this isn't going to apply to you, but we're going to talk about what does apply to you after this. Okay. So the studies, the numbers that I saw is over 70 million Americans have some type of small business or a side gig, like they do, like the young man from the Trump town hall. He is a delivery driver. That's considered a side gig workers, delivering groceries, delivering whatever, right? Those are called gig workers. So they do small gigs. They work for companies like Target or Shipt or what's the other one? Instacart, anything that would do something like that, right? All right. Tax plan for new business owners. Currently, new business owners can deduct up to $5,000 of their startup costs for their business. Okay. Now, Kamala has said in her town halls and in her appearances that nobody can start a business with $5,000. Now, I'm here to tell you, as somebody who has a business, I have a boarding business where I board dogs. You can start up, but this that I'm doing right here, you can start it up with less than $5,000, right? You can make an income. I'm not saying this applies across the board, but it can be done. So her saying nobody can start a business with $5,000. I'm sure if you talk to people who have started a business, they have started with very little, because what you don't include in that type of stuff is things that you already own and have to be able to do your business, whatever that might be. I'm not saying again that applies to everybody, but it is possible. Okay. So that's the current law. You can deduct up to $5,000. Now, if your deductions go past $5,000, I'm sorry, your expenses go past $5,000, you still can deduct them, but you have to deduct them over the course of each tax year, right? So for instance, if you had a $50,000 startup expense, you could deduct $5,000 this year or the next upcoming tax season. And then for the next 9 years, you would deduct $5,000 each time. Okay. So you would still be able to use that as a deduction, but not all at once. Okay. So Kamala is promising that if you vote for her, she is going to up that to $50,000. So she's going to allow people with new businesses to deduct up to $50,000 in a single tax year. In a single tax year, okay? They're going to be able to do that. So that's pretty huge. That's pretty huge. But again, this is for new business owners. So if you currently have a business, this is not going to apply to you unless you start a new business. Okay. And also, this is not just like, hey, free money. You got to show that whatever you're deducting is obviously tied to your business. The IRS does not play about that. Okay. In this case, as I said I was going to do, Donald Trump does not have a proposed tax plan for this because he wants to keep it as it currently is, because after all, that was his initial tax proposal, right? So he wants to keep it at $5,000. Okay. Now, what about current business owners? These are people who already have businesses established. Okay. So right now, the average business owner makes about $73,000 a year. This is a small business owner. They make about $73,000 a year base salary. Okay. And I'm just saying that so you guys kind of have an idea. So Trump has a plan for current small business owners, okay, which is a good thing, okay? So again, he wants to allow them to take the 20% quarterly business income tax deduction, okay? He wants to let them write off up to 100% of their business assets. So that's bonus depreciation. You would be able to write off 100% of your business assets. He would also like to give grants or a tax credit for hiring certain types of people. So that would be disabled people, maybe ex-felons. I'm not quite, I don't have all the examples for you, but that's kind of like what that's talking about. Okay. So for hiring certain types of people that fall into maybe what would be deemed as a minority category, so to speak, not necessarily minority race, but in other ways as well. All right. So here is where they agree. Okay. So Donald Trump and Kamala Harris actually agree in this area. Now, this is on tip income. Funny enough, it is important to note that the first person to say that they were not going to tax tips was Donald Trump. And, this went over really, really well with people who work in an industry where they make tips. This would be drivers, delivery drivers. This would be waitresses. This would be anybody basically that provides some type of service where they can earn a tip. Okay. Donald Trump was the first to say, I am not going to tax you on your tips. That is gigantic. Kamala must have thought that was such a great idea that she literally came out with it like, like it was her own idea. Like she came out like she literally announced that she was going to do it like it was brand new and people cheered for it like she was the first one to say it. Okay, so they both want to eliminate tip income from taxes. Which, hey, for me, that would be great as well, because like when you guys do like a super chat on this video, right? Let me just put you on game really quick. Okay. So when you guys do a super chat on this video, you could super chat me. Let's just say you guys were like super generous and you super chatted me like $50. Okay. YouTube is going to take 35% of that $50. If by the end of the video, I make, let's say $500 in super chats, those are considered tips, then I would get 35% of that $500 taxed. And then on top of that, I have to claim it on my taxes at the end of the year. And then the IRS taxes that income. Okay. So I'm literally getting double taxed on that. And it really, really sucks. So that being said, I appreciate super chats. If you guys, want to give super chats, I'm never going to say, don't give them. But if you want to donate to the stream, my Venmo is at J5005 and you can Venmo me. It's scrolling at the bottom. Or you can do a super chat as well. Either way, it's fine with me. Whatever way you guys want to give is fine with me. Always appreciate it. Okay. And yes, I'm going to get to that no tax on overtime, because that is another thing is that Trump has said, if you do not, or if you work overtime, you're an overtime worker. I'm going to get into that. You're not going to be taxed on the overtime hours, which is another huge, huge bonus. Okay. All right. So yeah, here we are. I'm on the slide. Good job, Tito. You were probably reading ahead. All right. So this would be people who work a lot of overtime, people who work in the construction industry, trades, hospital workers. What else? Even this would really apply to anybody who is an hourly worker and works a lot of overtime. This is incredible, because if you guys are somebody who works overtime, you know how much it sucks, right? To work an 80-hour week and you're like, yeah, my check's going to be great because I'm getting paid time and a half. But guess what? The government comes in and they take damn near half of everything you busted your butt to work for in one fell swoop. And it really sucks. It really sucks. So not having your overtime taxed would be amazing. I wonder if that applies too to like when you get, it should apply like when you get bonuses and stuff like that. I remember when I used to work for like a company, they used to like give the company like a Christmas bonus, and I would hate it because they would put it like in our regular paycheck, which would add to the total of our paycheck. And I'd be like, can you just give us a gift card? Cause that would be great. That would be great. But anyways, okay. So let's move on from this. Okay. So on exempting overtime wages, Kamala has not yet proposed a plan for this. She hasn't said anything about whether she plans on taxing overtime. Okay, but Donald Trump has. Okay, let's talk about Social Security. This impacts all of us, but mainly our senior citizens who are living on Social Security. Basically, Social Security comes from tax from your W-2 income, so that's your work income. And if you have self-employment tax, it also gets paid into from there as well. Okay. So currently right now, the tax income for a single tax filer. Okay. So if you earn $25,000 a year, your Social Security benefit tax rate is 50%. If you earn over $34,000 a year, your Social Security benefit tax rate is 85%. Okay. Donald Trump would love to, well, he wants to propose that Social Security benefits would be exempt from taxes as well. So this is something that is very, very good for senior citizens, because if you're only living on Social Security, this is a big deal, because the more money you get to keep, the better. But it's good for all of us in the long run. Okay. Kamala Harris does not have a proposed tax plan on this as of yet. All right, so Kamala Harris's tax plan for new incentives for first-time home buyers. This is something that has been very, very popular amongst her people. And they're like, yeah, you know, first-time home buyers, she's going to give us a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers, okay? So the way that this is going to work, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it, but understand that if you're a first-time home buyer and you qualify for this program, if it's enacted, you have to obviously be approved, right? It's up to $25,000 and it is a tax credit, which means you have to have the down payment up front, and then you will in turn claim it on your taxes, and then you will get a credit for whatever amount you were approved. So it's not a guaranteed $25,000, okay? Now, I wanted to put this little excerpt in this video so you guys understand a little bit deeper, okay? So this is straight from her website. It says, as more new homes are built and affordable housing supply increases, Vice President Harris will provide first-time home buyers with up to, that is a very important part, up to $25,000 to help with their down payments with more generous support for first generational home owners. Okay. So this is going to apply, yes, to people who are the first time in their family that they have bought a house. That's a great thing. But how many people does that actually apply to? Well, I'll tell you who it applies to the most are all those illegals that are coming in hopes of gaining citizenship. And this is not a slight on these people, okay, on a personal level, but they will in fact be first generation homeowners, and they will be able to benefit from this more than you and I, who have lived in this country since we were born. Okay. So I just want to put that out there so that you guys understand. Okay. So again, she's proposing $25,000 tax credit for first generation home buyers. So this is also kind of broken down in that plan. $25,000 is the amount for first generation home buyers, and $10,000 being the lowest for first generation home buyer support. Okay. So if they say you're approved for support, I'm understanding that you only get $10,000. If you are a first generation home buyer and you qualify for the full shebang at $25,000, then you get the full $25,000. So not everybody's getting $25,000, but again, you've got to have this money to put down to begin with. Okay. It's not just going to be like, you're going to go apply for the house and the bank's going to be like, okay, which that's never going to happen. Your down payment's $25,000. We'll just, write in there that Kamala Harris got you, right? She got you. So don't worry about cutting us a check. No, they're going to be like, yeah. You cut us the check. And then when you do your taxes, then Kamala Harris will refund you whatever amount she said you were going to get credited for. What's up, fam? Thank you for joining. And guys, let me know if this is helpful to you in the comments as we're going along. I really would appreciate the feedback on this, or if there's any improvement I can make. I hope I'm explaining this in a simplistic enough way for you to understand. Trump does not have a proposed tax plan for this. So he does not have any type of tax or any type of credit that he's giving right now. In his new, if he gains or gets to be president, he doesn't have anything that he's proposing right now. But again, for either one that doesn't have a proposed tax plan, that could change, right? They're releasing new stuff every day. All right. So Donald Trump's tax plan for real estate investors. Okay. So obviously he has the 20% quarterly business income tax deduction. We already talked about that, writing off up to 100% of business assets. And then also swap one property for another without paying taxes. So basically what that is you buy a house and do a refurb on it to sell it. And then you turn around and then you take that money and you put it into another property. So you're just constantly reinvesting your money. It's never really like going into your pocket. You are just reinvesting the money. Okay. So that's something that he wants to allow property builders or, investment people to do without having to pay taxes on that income. Okay. Yes, this is helpful. I'm on my way to the border to cross illegally with a new name. Me llama Paco. Hey, you're funny. All right. So child tax credit. This is something that I'm sure interests you guys. And I want to break this down for you as easy as I can. All right. So currently, right now on your taxes, if you have a qualifying child, you are getting a $2,000 per child tax credit. So if you have 2 children, you're getting $4,000. If you have 3 children, you're getting $6,000. All right. All right. So what Kamala Harris is proposing is she's proposing a $6,000 credit for children under 1 year of age. She is proposing a $3,600 credit for children under the age of 6. Okay. And a $3,000 credit for older children who are dependents. I do want to highlight this comment. So, eating flaming hot Cheetos said, houses cost too much money. $10,000 is going straight to interest. Exactly. Yeah. It's not, that's what my point was, is people are very much swayed by the $25,000, but it's not really going to do much for them. Okay. So, I went through Kamala's plan. What Trump is proposing is a $5,000 per child, regardless of age, as long as they're under you as a dependent, credit. Okay. So he's kind of basically meeting in the middle. She's got a lot of different categories there, starting at $6,000 for their first year of life, and then dropping down to $3,600 from first year to 6 years, and then $3,000 for older children. But Trump says, hey, you know what? I'm going to meet you in the middle. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. He's like $5,000 per child, regardless of age. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. So if you have 2 children, you're going to be getting $10,000 in child tax credit. All right. Earned income tax credit. Okay. So this provides a tax credit to people who earn less than $60,000 per year in income. Let me know in the chat who this applies to if you earn $60,000 or less in income. Okay. Probably a lot of single people, I would assume. Or people that are the sole worker in their household. Okay. So currently this is how it is working in 2024. So if you have qualifying children, sorry, this got kind of cut off. And your earned income, if you're married, is $25,511. Your maximum earned income tax credit will be $632. So again, if you fall in that threshold of earning less money, you get a tax credit. Now, if you're right on the cusp of that $60,000 for a single, it's $59,899. Let's just say you make $59,899. Okay, so you just barely made it for the earned income tax credit. When you file your taxes and you show that you earn less than $60,000, your credit maximum will be $7,830. So that's what it currently is. It currently is. Okay. Okay. So that is that. Okay. So what Kamala is proposing. So let me just go back really quick because I want to use this amount. So this is for the lowest amount for a single person. Currently, if you earn $18,000, so that would be maybe somebody who works in fast food, right? They're filing their taxes. They're going to get a $632 credit. Okay. At that same amount of the $18,000, Kamala Harris wants to bump that up to $1,500 for qualifying individuals with no children. So I'm assuming the qualifying is you make the minimum and you have no children. So her bump only applies if you have no children. Okay. Trump does not have a proposed tax plan because this current one that I just showed you is his tax plan. And I'm assuming he just wants to keep it as is. All right. Capital gains tax. Okay. Capital gains is the selling price of an asset minus the purchase price of an asset. So a house that you sold minus the purchase price of the new house that you bought is what your capital gains equal. Okay. That is subject to taxes. Okay. So this is just an example of the 2024 tax bracket. If you have an income of $518,000, okay, for an individual, or $583,000 to $731,000 for a married couple, you are subject to 20% capital gains. Now, if you are like most people making anywhere between 47 and let's take the second one of I think probably where most people are at is in married income 23,000 to 200 to 94 to 300,000. You are subject to 0% capital gains right now. Okay. Kamala Harris wants to up this. Okay. She wants to make it 28% for taxpayers earning more than $1 million per year in income. Okay. So she's basically saying if you make more than $1 million per year in income, I'm going to tax you 28%. So that's her whole tax the rich more plan, right? So again, as an example, you make $1 million in earned income. The proposed tax increase with her is 8% more. So you're going to pay an additional $80,000 in taxes. Okay. Now, what is that going to, let's go back. What is that going to impact, right? If you are somebody who is making $1 million a year, most likely you own a business of some sort. It's probably a pretty decent business, right? You're going to say, okay, I got to pay all these additional taxes. So in order for me to afford these taxes, I can't afford to hire as many people. And you know what? That China labor, that Mexico labor is looking hella good. So I'm going to take all my manufacturing business and I'm going to move it over to Mexico and China because I've got to pay more taxes. And guess what goes with that? Jobs. Okay. So now there's going to be more people out of work and more people fighting for very few jobs that are going to be left in the United States for us, on top of all the extra people we have to fight with, hence the illegals that we were talking about earlier that are coming into this country. Okay. So just keep that in mind, that taxing the wealthy comes with consequences. It's not just, I just really want to stick it to the rich. Okay. I just really want to stick it to the rich because I hate that I'm not rich. I hate that they're rich. They really think they're hot shit. The truth of the matter is people who make money and have businesses, yes, they live a very comfortable life. They live a nice life. They go do nice things, right? But they also continue to make that money and continue to become successful because they take all that extra income and they put it into either their existing business or they put it into a new business. And when you have a president that is giving you more incentives to start a new business, hence not paying taxes on certain things, hence having a lower interest rate, it is a little bit more appealing. So when you hear Trump talk about how he's going to stimulate the economy by not taxing corporations who want to keep their business here in the United States, but imposing tariffs on corporations that want to take their manufacturing to other countries, that's how he plans to do it. So that's basically, as we're going through this, that's how he plans to pay for his tax plan. Okay. What I will tell you, and this is not me taking sides in any way because I'm trying to do this kind of objectively, is Kamala Harris has yet to say how she's going to pay for any place that she's making a tax cut or she's giving away more money. Okay. So she hasn't really provided a plan on how she's going to pay for it. Donald Trump has clearly stated he will pay for all his proposed tax ideas with the tariffs. Okay. Okay. So new capital gains taxes. So as I said, Kamala wants to tax it at 28% for taxpayers earning more than $1 million per year. And Trump wants to do 15% proposed long-term capital gains rates. Okay. Unrealized capital gains. Okay. So unrealized capital gains is it's hard to explain, but it's money that you haven't really technically made yet. But you still have to pay a tax on it, right? Because you kind of like have this what is it called? Not a history. I guess it's kind of a history, but you have a history of making a certain amount of money. So therefore the government says, okay, well, since we know that you make this amount of money, we're going to tax you what's called an unrealized capital gains tax. Again, this really applies to people who make a very high amount of money. And you're going to be required in this case to pay 25% unrealized capital gains tax. Okay. This is money you don't actually have yet. That's what Kamala Harris wants to charge you, 25% effective tax rate. Trump does not have any plans to tax people on unrealized capital gains. All right, so let's get into the tariffs, okay? So Trump wants to impose anywhere from 10 to 20% in tariffs, okay? And this is going to be upped for anybody who wants to get imports from China. Excuse me 1 second. I need to take a drink. My throat is parched. Okay. My throat is parched. So yes, if you want to take your business over to China, he's going to hit you with a 60% tariff tax. Okay. On all the goods that are coming back over. If you are not taking it to China, if you're taking it to other countries that is not the United States, it'll be anywhere from 10 to 20%. Okay. So as I stated before, there are companies like John Deere, automotive companies that are halting in their tracks right now on any production overseas because they're waiting to see the outcome of this election. Because if Donald Trump gets into office, they are going to have to really think about where they are getting their manufacturing done, and decide whether they want to bring it back to the United States or pay the penalty for the tariff. Okay. So that is a really big deal. That is a really, really big deal. And honestly, I truly believe that companies don't want to have to take their business overseas, other than the fact that it saves them money right now. But you also have to imagine, like, they have to spend money to go and, visit these plants and go and make sure stuff is running well. And, there's just all kinds of like red tape when you're dealing with international lines and shipping and all this other stuff. So I know that when it comes to like these corporations, if they see it economically a bonus for them, they're going to happily bring back all their business to the United States, which is going to create jobs for the American people. And that is a good thing. Okay. So I just wanted to put in here, if you guys didn't know what tariffs were, it's basically a tax that's assessed on goods. Okay. So here's the goods, here's the USA, here's the other country. Okay. Going back and forth is going to cost them money. If it all stays over here, we going to be good. We're going to be good. Okay. I'm almost done, you guys. Tax plan for corporate and individual income taxes. Okay. So this is just to round it all off for you guys. The current corporate tax rate is 21%. Trump is going to tax corporations at 15% as long as they produce all their products here. Other corporation taxes will be 20%. And I don't know what that's depending on, but Kamala Harris wants to make it 28%. Okay. So she wants to hike it up for corporate tax rates. For individuals, right now we're at 37%. Trump wants to keep it at 37% while also lowering the cost of goods, bringing jobs back to America, making things cheaper for us, right? That's great. I'm fine with it not changing as long as everything kind of like balances back out, right? So we're at inflation right now, and he's going to bring that inflation down to meet up with his great tax plan to make things comfortable again for us, okay? And I'm sure as things get comfortable, because right now he can't do something like extremely drastic, right? Like he's got to level it out. He's got to balance it again, balance that budget. And then we can talk about, okay, now where else can we make cuts and make it better for the American people? But as an individual, once these current tax cuts expire, you will be paying 39.6% extra as an individual. All right. That is the information. I hope you guys found these slides very helpful to you. I hope it allows you to make a sound decision on what candidate would better fit your needs, not only as an individual, but as a family, as a business owner, as a large corporation owner, or a small business owner, as somebody who's maybe considering wanting to start a small business, somebody who works in the tips field, somebody who works overtime. I really wanted to make this for you guys so that you guys understand that it's important we vote on policy and not on personality. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Please make sure to hit the like button if you like this video. If you found it helpful, drop a comment below. Let me know what you liked about it. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see or any other breakdown you want me to do. I'd be happy to do that. Make sure to come back on Tuesday for Somewhere in the Middle with me and Suni. Thank you guys. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.